Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's a professional here. So as you guys can see, I have a lot of chips. I have about 2,725,000 chips here, and I will show you guys how to make between $400 to $500,000 per hour with horse betting. This is what I've been doing over the past few days. And I bet you can make probably a little bit more, but this is roughly how much I was making, about $400 to $500,000 per hour. And the good things about this method is I'll say that this method is extremely simple. It's very easy to use. It doesn't really require any work. The cons of this method is I would say this is really boring to do because you would be doing the same thing for over an hour. But still, this is a pretty good way to make money. So I'm going to show you guys what I do here. So now let's get started. So to start off with this method, you are going to need a minimum of 100,000 chips or about 150,000 chips around there, and you're going to want that as a safety net so that if you start losing, you still have that money to fall back on. Now you might go a little bit negative during this, but you're going to be getting a lot more money back. So you might lose a few times, but then you're going to win a few more times back, and you're going to win more money than you'll lose. I've been doing this strategy for a few days now. I'm at 2.5 million chips, over 2.5 million chips now, and I'm going to keep increasing it. So what you're basically going to want to do is you have two events. You have the main event, and the main event, it's basically playing against other players, but you can do this in an invite-only session, and those are every 5 minutes. You're still going to want to bet on that, so you can still do the main event, and you can do a single event at once, and I recommend betting at 10,000 chips, the max, on the first horse, each time. And for the single events, you are going to want to look for events where there are no evens. So if you see an even, avoid that. Avoid that race. And what you can do is you can either stand up or you can just get out of the screen. Just get out of the screen. I was standing up here, but then I realized that you could just get out of the screen. And when you get out of the screen, it generates a new race. So it'll generate new odds, completely new race. And you're going to want to avoid the evens. If you see the evens, don't play that race. And the reason that you don't want to play that race is because the even is most likely to win that race. But even if you bet on the even, you're not going to get that much money back. You want to find a race where it's around 2 to 1 minimum, 3 to 1, or 4 to 1. That's the top horse. And you're also going to want to avoid races where the first two horses are the same. So if the first two horses are 2 to 1, or 3 to 1 or 4 to 1, you're going to want to avoid those. So avoid races with evens and also avoid races where the first two horses are the same. And what you're going to want to do is bet 10,000 chips on the first horse each time. That's basically what you're going to want to do. And if you get that even or you get that double same horses, just get out of the screen and just keep going back in it until you get a race with better odds, and just keep betting 10,000 chips on the just keep betting 10,000 chips on the first horse. That's what I've been doing. This is a kind of a bit of a grind. It's very simple to do because you're just hitting a few buttons, but like I said before, the strategy is kind of boring, so if you want to do gameplay or something like that, you want to do missions, activities, this is not the right strategy for you. But on the bright side is, you can just sit here, you hit a few buttons, and you can just keep doing this, and this will make you some pretty easy money. So you might lose a few times during this, but you're largely going to make a lot of money back. So take a look at this. I won first place here with this horse, and let's see how much money I get back. And I get, let's see, how much do we get? 40,000 right here. Okay, so that's basically me being allowed to play 4 times. So I can play 4 times without going broke again. So I have better odds now. We got up out of the computer, but again, remember, you don't gotta stand up. You can just get out of the screens to avoid evens. We got an even here. Okay, we're gonna go back into it again. Let's go back to the computer here. Let's get a new race here going. Let's see our odds. Okay, we got Robocall, 4 to 1, and the first and second horse are usually the horses that win, and when you have an odd like this, you bet 10,000 chips, you could get 50,000 chips back. So even if you lose, you just bet 10,000 chips on the next race, and then you bet 10,000 chips on the next race, and chances are you're going to win a lot more than you're going to lose. So you're going to keep going negative. So even if I lost here, I would just lose 10,000 chips, but I'm going to win here, and I'm going to win 50,000 chips, and then basically I can play 5 times again without going negative, and you're bound to win, because first and second place are almost always going to win. They're going to win most of the time. I've seen a few of the other the horses win also, but first and second going to win most of the time. So just keep betting on the first horse. And you see right here, I won with that one. I'm going to bet on Constant Brag here next. Going to bet 10,000 chips. Let's place the bet. Let's see what it's like here. Are we going to win first place here? Horse number 1 is slacking a little bit right now. Horse number 5 is in the lead. Looks like we're getting in the lead now. And yeah, again, guys, just keep doing this. Just literally keep doing this. Just keep betting 10,000 on the first horse. And if you see an even or you see 2 of the same, don't bet on it. So right here, horse number 5 won. I lost $10,000, but that's not really a big deal because I won a few before. So we're going to bet 10,000 again here. And here when we bet 10,000, let's take a look at this. We could get 30,000 back. Okay. So we're down 10,000 now. Let's see if we win this race. And also, the main event is going on at the same time. The main event, I believe that I win first place in it as well. So take advantage of the main event. Put some chips in on the first horse there. And you're bound to win as well there. Let's see how we do here. Slacking a little bit here. Oh, and we're in trouble here. Okay, so we lost that race there. But then take a look at the next race. The next race coming up. Going to bet 10,000 chips. Got to keep hitting the button here. We're at 10,000. Let's bet that. In this strategy, I'm doing this whole thing for an hour here. I'm not going to show gameplay of the whole hour. I'm just going to fast forward through it. But I will have a link down below of me playing this whole thing for an hour so you guys can see the whole unedited clip. So take a look right there. I won 10,000 from the main event. So while I was doing the single event, the main event was going on. I won 20,000 chips there. And let's see. I think I'm going to win this race here. Hopefully I win this race. Let's see. Also win this race. Look at that. We got 30,000 chips back. And just keep doing that. Just keep betting 10,000 on the first horse, and you're bound to win. You are bound to win. You're going to lose a few, so don't worry if you lose a few. But when you win, you're going to multiply your earnings each time. And that's going to give you free, that's going to basically give you free runs to keep doing it over and over and over again. So let's see if we win this race here. Let's see how this one goes now. We're betting on horse 1 again. Middle of the race now. Okay, 75% of the race is done. Come on, horse 1. Win it here, horse 1. Win it. Okay, we're in the lead. And we got it. Okay, so let me fast forward now, guys. I'm going to fast forward through this and show you guys some of my wins. And again, if you lose a few of these races, don't worry. Just keep betting on the first horse because you are eventually going to win. So I fast forwarded right here. This is to about 58 minutes now. So I've been grinding this for almost an hour. And take a look at my chips right there. My chips are now 2,675,000. And I started with about 2,200,000. So I grinded 500,000 chips right there, and I could convert that easily to $500,000, and I could go and withdraw this right now, and that's almost $2,700,000 right there. And a lot of my chips, most of my chips, I'd say like 80% of them are grinded from this method right here. I made some from blackjack and 3-card poker, but mostly from this. So if you're looking for a good method to grind, very simple, very easy, this is this right here. This is probably the most effective way to make money in the casino, at least in my opinion, because the chances of you losing here are very slim because you can just keep betting on the first horse. The first horse is the highest probability of winning, and you get a lot of money back if you win with the first horse. So I personally think this is a good method right here. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I will link the video down below of me doing this for a whole hour so you guys can watch the full unedited video also. But I hope this helps people out, and like I said, this method is effective. It's very simple. This is probably the easiest money guide I've ever made. This is probably the most simple money guide I've ever made. But on the bad side, on the con side, this is extremely boring. Because me, personally, I was making a decent amount of money doing this, about 400 to 500,000 chips per hour. But even me, I'm a big grinder. I like grinding, and I got kind of bored of doing this for about an hour. So like I said, if you don't mind doing the same thing for an hour straight, this is the method for you. But me, personally, I got kind of bored from it, so it's not the most fun strategy, but it is a very effective and simple strategy. And one final thing before I leave off here, I wanted to say, when you go through the computer and you exit out the screen, because you're going to be looking for races that don't involve the evens and the same horses, don't look for races where your odds are much better, because you're going to be wasting a lot more time there scrolling through the different races, constantly trying to find a race where the odds are much more in your favor. Just go with the first race that you see that doesn't have an even, it doesn't have a double, and you're pretty much good. I've been doing that. This first race that I see, I've just been betting 10,000 on the first horse each time. Made a pretty decent amount of money. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like. If you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.